everyone. It's like, what?
Dude, same.
We are live now, breaking down the Dune Part 3 trailer. Come hang out. One of these days, I'm going to drop that at everyone in the wrong Discord, in someone else's Discord, and they're going to be like, first of all, who the fuck are you? Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Sorry for the delay and sorry for some of the technical issues. Let us know how audio is, folks. Let us know
Yeah.
how things look and sound. Um, if there's any weird echo or anything like that, let us know so we can try and fix it. But the game plan is for this stream to be less structured. This isn't going to be like a recorded episode with a proper intro, outro. And honestly, we want you folks in the chat to kind of lead the discussion because we're going to be incorporate. So after this live stream, Leo and I are going to go and actually record our breakdown episode that'll go out on the podcast feed, and we're going to incorporate the things we talk about here with all of you in the live chat. So we want you guys to lead with theories and ideas, and we'll just take a look at the trailer together and keep it casual. This stream is less structured than normal.
Indeed. So for people, Adept, Charon, nice to see you. Zonikav, Brad Hutchins. Oh my God, Bard Hutchins himself.
Yeah.
Let us know how it sounds, how levels are, and when we get playing with the trailer, of course, let us know about that as well.
That's right. That's right. Okay. We'll keep an
Palindrome.
eye on chat. And sorry that neither of us are in like proper studio setups. Or I mean, like I guess you're in like a semi-permanent setup, but
Last week though, in less
and then
than
you're
7 days,
Okay,
I'm going down
again.
to
Yeah.
Bordeaux, moving again. And
Wow.
Zonikav, this is not a first time. We have both done kind of frame by frame already, but we wanted to have a conversation with y'all, see if there's any theories that you have, and include those in the episode where we're going to guard after.
That's
Good on
right. We're
my
not
end.
watching
All right,
this
thank you.
and reacting to it live. We've watched it. I personally have watched it like over a dozen times now.
Yeah,
So,
same.
um,
What's up,
okay,
Brian?
great. Brad says good on my end. Ryan says sup. So I think we're sounding good and hopefully looking good. So let's do it.
Adept.
I'm
Streggy's head is the stand that my phone is currently on. Yeah.
Yes, the Streggy's head statue is nearby. Don't you worry. Okay, so we'll go through this frame by frame. Again, we're not going to watch it all the way through. We assume everyone in the chat has already done that. Instead, we're going to kind of go sort of shot by shot, frame by frame, and chat about it. So, what do we all think of Warner Bros. Discovery at the start? Thoughts, theories?
Love the color choices. I love the soft bloom. Really puts me in that dreamlike state. You know.
Yeah, yeah. R.I.P. to Warner Bros. Discovery, which is now owned by Paramount.
Oh, did that sale
Okay,
go through? Is that done?
the sale did go through. Netflix backed out, and so now Paramount and Warner Bros. Is one giant conglomerate.
No one should be allowed to buy companies at that scale. That's ridiculous.
Billions of dollars. And they're now a company that has $80 billion in debt,
Nice.
which is super cool. Okay, moving on from the corporate shenanigans of it all. Then we move into our very opening shot, which is Paul Atreides over some sort of water basin,
Hmm.
presumably washing some wounds off, perhaps after a battle, perhaps this is just his morning shower routine.
Yeah, I kind of think that this is going to be right after he's cut his hair. Like maybe this is his like transformative
Mm,
scene where he's cutting off his long hair, and this is his like how much I've given up already and how much I'm about to give up more. You know.
that's right.
Although we
That's
don't
right.
see his face, so maybe this is post Stoneburner even.
Yeah, let's see. There's a shot of him wiping his head with the towel.
Yeah.
And I wonder if we'll catch a glimpse of his eyes. But okay, so beautiful shot of water is how we start this trailer, and then that continues into there's the desert we all know and love. Did you get another fly? The flies have been
I've been
hounding you.
fucking trying, but this one keeps getting away. And to Adept's kind of joke, the Sardaukar quote, unfortunate news, y'all. the singer who does the Sardaukar chant voice, who I sang in his choir in university and knew him quite well, and we had tentative plans to talk and interview. He had a surgery that kind of went badly and complications, and he actually passed
Oh
away.
no.
So he
Oh
is,
my gosh.
yeah, he is passed away. It was kind of a blow because he's a really good guy. But
That's
I don't know if
devastating.
they're going to posthumously use his voice in this one, but I did find it notable that we didn't hear any Sardaukar chanting. Now we hear Paul Atreides chanting, which not only lines up with the passing of this vocalist, but also now we are out of the world order of the Sardaukar are the might that define the universe,
Oh
and now it's
yeah,
Paul that defines the might of the universe. So I wouldn't be surprised if this
that's true.
movie had no Sardaukar chanting. And R.I.P. indeed. He was a good dude.
That's right. Okay, so we get a shot of the desert. This is a Dune movie. There's going to be desert.
Missed.
Okay, our first shot is Chani and Paul cuddling inside of a still tent. Chani's wearing that iconic blue ribbon, and they are in this scene talking about naming their children, Ganima and Leto.
Yeah.
Thoughts, theories, chat? What do we think?
So
Children of Dune? Is this movie actually an adaptation of Children of Dune?
I think the question here for me is this a flashback? Are they in a still tent? Is this like really early on in their relationship? You know, he's got the long flowing locks. Is this a vision of it that he has had? You know, this alternative timeline that maybe we've stepped outside of? I don't know. I think the simplest explanation is that this is a flashback that he's going to think back on and go like, "Oh fuck. I gave that up, you know, to be this this is so a part 1 flashback." Okay. I think that's the most reasonable explanation. Good point, Teague.
I think so. Yeah, I think this is a part one
No
flashback.
scars. True.
Right. They're looking younger, and the blue headband is only ever mentioned in one scene, which is in the first book. So this feels like Timmy reminiscing about perhaps the good old days with his Sayadina.
But here's a question. You know, there were theories around that blue headband that this in the it's a throwaway line in the books that this is a signal that she is pregnant or that they've had a boy. Maybe why are they talking kids' names? Are they talking about how they want to have kids kind of fully speculatively,
Right.
or
Or is she pregnant in the zine?
is she pregnant in the scene and thus we will find out she was pregnant when she stormed away into the desert? You know, I'm not going to have
Mm,
a Fremen child in the midst of this, you know, non-Fremen war.
imperial political chaos. Yeah. Yeah. That's a great theory. I think a lot of folks have had that theory, like ever since part two ended. Actually, people have been like,
Missed.
"Is Chani pregnant at the end of part two, and that's why she walks away?" Um, that's that's interesting. Why be talking about kids so early on here? You know, like y'all just met and got together. It's been like what, a couple years max. Are we
Not
already
even.
talking kids?
Yeah, I mean,
Not
this is
even. Yeah,
like
at this point, not even.
a month into their relationship. They're like, yeah, so when we have kids, what are the 2 names that we want to boil this down to? Oh, and they're rubbing
Yeah.
her belly.
Oh,
Are
here's
they?
yeah.
Wait, play a little bit more of the scene.
Okay, here, let me back up and I'll play the scene from the start here. Sorry, it might be a little choppy on the live stream, folks. Wi-Fi issues and such. Yeah, it's real
Oh,
choppy. It's hard to tell what they're doing with their hands. You know, maybe it's best we don't know. But I mean, he certainly got his hands around her, and they could be resting on her stomach. Interesting thoughts, though. Very interesting to also get a Ganima and Leto name drop. Like what, 15 seconds into the trailer?
yeah. And that Matt Karen guy points out, unless this is, they're talking about the first Leto, who we don't talk about, right? The forgotten Leto, the
That's true.
forgotten.
Yeah, I've read some interesting theories online that the first Leto might be the emotional sort of catalyst that Villeneuve uses to bring Paul and Chani back together. You know, maybe the loss of their
Mm,
first son or something is what brings them back to each other.
yeah, like she's pregnant when she goes out into the desert with Leto the first. And then that child will be born or lost at some point in the 12 years, and they come back together. That's the theory.
I think that's the theory. Yeah.
And Alex, you're
Um,
right. The original son died in like off page in a Harkonnen raid on a Fremen siege, and that was also
but that was
why,
entirely skipped over in the movies.
yeah, completely omitted from the first two movies. Also because of the truncated timeline of the first two movies, rather than taking place over like 2.5 years. The first two movies take place over like 6 months, so not enough time
Yeah.
to have a kiddo.
Yeah, I think it's also worth acknowledging Neil. Neil says that would be a big switch up from what happens to Chani and Messiah. I think we all have to brace for a very different Chani in this movie. I think if any of us is going in expecting this to be the Chani of the books, we are in for a very rude awakening.
Maybe.
So we just have to trust that Villeneuve is gonna handle the character well. My instinct says we are not getting the Chani from the books, and I'll withhold judgment until I see it. But again, Villeneuve has proven twice now that he can make a masterpiece adaptation of this story.
Yeah.
So maybe he can handle the Chani character well too. Okay, so this next shot's interesting. A couple of theories floating around about this one. Someone is like hang gliding across the desert,
Yeah.
and
Sick.
there are so many. I mean, people have just thrown out every single name in the Dune universe of who this could be. This is probably the best view of them that we're getting from behind. Impossible to tell, right? Like impossible to be like, is that a masculine physique? Is that a feminine physique? Are those the broad shoulders of Duncan Idaho? Probably not. Like, uh, any thoughts on who this could be, Leo?
No clue whatsoever. Like
Yeah.
Liet Kynes, adept, amazing. Yeah. Obviously, this is Liet. I mean, that would honestly turn me around 180 degrees on the whole Liet's death thing. If Liet Kynes, we get a flashback last second. She's like, fuck this. Deploys her air chute, escapes on the spice blow. Oh,
Incredible.
that'd be so sick.
Yeah, I don't know. The answer is like, who the fuck knows who this could be? This is obviously intentionally a vague shot that hides any clues. But I think if I'm gonna throw a theory out there, my personal theory is that this is Chani hang gliding in the desert for some reason, because the other shots we see of her, the very few shots we see of her in this trailer, are her sort of in the desert, very ragged, acting as some sort of rebel. I think. Um, And so, perhaps she's out here doing rebel activities with a hang glider in the deep desert. That's my that's the only theory I got.
Ooh. So 610 Vegas points out. So let's say Chani is pregnant with a kid and has a kid. If that kid is seen by Irulan to be a threat to the Imperial throne, maybe there will be this element of Chani being hunted down by, like, basically assassins out in the desert
Mm,
because she has a son of Muad'Dib.
yeah. For the first Leto, not the twins. Or are we
Yes.
thinking
Yeah.
twins?
Yeah, I don't think she's going to have. The timeline just doesn't make sense because we know this second movie, Alia is born and a full ass adult. So, like, what, 15 years is going to have to jump forward?
Yeah. What's the chat? We did get confirmation on exactly how many years Villeneuve said in some Q&A
Oh, he
last
did.
week.
What did he
Yeah.
say?
I think well, what is it? Chad, if somebody remembers, can you drop it? I think it's like 17 confirmed year time jump for this movie, which is like it's more than the 12. It's not a 12-year time jump, it's more. It's either 15 or 17. But even then, if the twins were, let's say the twins are born at 12, that makes them 5 5 years old, 5-year-old kids. So there could be a
17.
Irulan
Yeah.
hunting 5-year-old twins in the desert and Chani protecting them. And
Am I
that
the
that
only.
would that would require some dramatic changes.
By the way, chat, am I the only one hearing myself super loud in Abu's mic? Like, I'm hearing myself breathing and typing and stuff through Abu's audio. Like, that's my beard.
I only hear you once.
Hmm.
Is
Maybe
your
it's like a
interface?
stream
Are you
face.
just hearing your interface back at you or something? Your audio interface? Maybe turn your monitoring down or something.
No,
Vegas says 17. Okay, everyone in the chat is confirming. Villeneuve said this is a 17-year time jump
there's an
between
echo.
movies.
Yeah. Okay. Jakin, thank you.
Oh, there's an echo. Okay, hold on. Let me I'm
First
gonna
handful of scenes.
since we're not really gonna watch.
Oh, I don't hear it anymore.
Okay, that's what it was. It was the fucking. I'm just gonna mute the live stream since we're going frame by frame anyway. We're not watching it. We don't need to hear the trailer. So I
Yeah,
think
that's a
if I
good
turn
point.
the audio off, then there's no echo.
That's great. Okay. Yeah, I'm not hearing myself anymore. And I was so self conscious about fucking
Okay,
breathing. And it's like,
gotcha,
thinking
gotcha.
about my own
Okay,
breathing. Okay.
all right. Thanks for that chat.
And thank
Yeah.
you for everybody. Yeah.
So folks are saying 17-year time jump is what Villeneuve confirmed, which is
Yes.
5 extra years on top of the 12 from the book. Um, yeah, that it feels like Villeneuve has plans for those 5 years. So, something different is happening in that 5 year extra gap, and it could be the kids. I mean, we know that Ganima and Leto have been cast. They haven't been cast as 5-year-old children necessarily.
Yeah. I feel
The
like that's
actors
going
look
to
way
be,
too old to be 5-year-old children.
they're in the womb. Those two actors are in the womb. I think it's going to be same as Alia. It's going to be visions of them in the desert. And it's going to be like part of maybe when Paul has lost his eyes and the twins are born at the end, he has a vision of them being like, hey, father, nice to meet you. Where, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from hang gliding, mysterious hang glider, who we're just going to throw out is Liet Kynes, resurrected, and or never was
Who
killed,
escaped last second
who
from the fucking
escaped.
sandworm.
Okay, and then this shot we're all very familiar with. This is just the ethereal shot of Chani from Paul's visions
The terrible
in Dune
water
Part One and Dune
discipline.
Part
Just
Two.
throwing water away, throwing moisture away.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So this is Timmy back at the pool. He's washing his head, perhaps right after he has shaved.
Or maybe post stone burner. Because what is he wearing? Is that like a still suit or like the cloak?
It's given cloak ish.
Or maybe
Cloak-ish.
this is like he's come in from outside at night or something like that.
Yeah.
Takako, will the
So he
17-year
washes his
gap happen
head.
within the film, or will the film start 17 years later? That's an
I
interesting.
suspect both.
The first handful of scenes see Timothy looking youthful as ever, but by the trailer's end, Villeneuve confirmed that the film charts a 17-year time jump. I think the way he's saying it means that we're going to get scenes before and after.
Yeah. I think this film is going to play with time for sure. Perhaps even visions of the future, some might say.
What? That's not a powered Timothy.
Okay, Timothy takes his bath here. Impossible to tell what's going on with his eyes.
Yeah.
We're back in
So
the tent.
I could see that being post stone burner, or like that Matt Karen guy pointed out, could be Paul returning from one of his incognito walks around Arkeen. I think that's another strong.
That's
he's
true.
seen something out there that bothers him.
Oh, that's Matt's username. I thought you kept being like that Matt Karen guy in the chat. That one.
That
That's his
fucking
username
Matt
that you
Karen.
keep repeating.
Yeah.
Okay, Neil wants me to slow down where you see the shadow of his face outline his eye. Okay, let me see. Let's back up a little. Right there, maybe? It's all cast in shadow on my screen, but
Now that I live in France, he's got such a French nose. Like Timothy Chalamet is like so French looking.
ooh, gosh, I don't know. Hard to definitively say anything about his eyes there, I think. Okay, we're back in the tent. We're chatting. Ganima Aleto names, yada yada, and then we get a very quick shot of presumably jihad warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Could be any planet, but I think Villeneuve did confirm in the Q&As that this film will go to new planets. So that I think that'll be exciting personally. Alrighty. We get somebody handing somebody else
A ducal
the
signet ring.
ducal signet ring, the legendary ring of House Atreides. Whose hands are those? Impossible to say.
I can
People that
tell
wear
by the
still
glove
suits.
texture. This obviously Edric. Obviously Edric.
That finger length, it's giving Edric. All right, ducal ring. More tent time. Ooh, I will say I did love. This is
The
something that
little.
Villeneuve does so well as a filmmaker, is texture. Like
Mm,
this is just a shot of his hand clenching and the ripples in the water. That's all it
yeah.
is.
The tension on the
But
back
it
of the
tells you so
hand, the
much.
water. Yeah. 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 So good.
It's so good. For some reason, this shot gave me chills when I was watching the trailer over and over again. I was like, damn, just the emotion in this shot, the way it's lit, the way there's text, multiple layers of texture, the hand, the ripples in the
Excuse me.
water.
Ooh. Asvevag saying Paul to Leto 2 at the end of the movie or to Alia. I could see that being Paul handing his signet ring to someone at the end of the movie, to Alia, for instance. Like giving her the ring and then walking into the desert.
Ah, before he walks off. Yeah, yeah, that's a great theory. I like that. All right, director Denis Villeneuve, a moon. Okay, here we get. Ooh, this shot gives me chills. A bloody
Great.
Timmy walking through a burning battlefield surrounded by his Fremen warriors. I think I said this in our instant reaction, but I'm particularly excited that we're seeing the jihad because I think seeing the massacre on film is a way to feel it. And if we were to just skip over that, I think it would be a huge mistake. Jake says, feels like we should see several new planets given how big the universe is. Yeah, although I think someone in the chat earlier said Villeneuve confirmed only one new planet that isn't Arrakis.
The samurai
So,
planet.
yeah, perhaps the planet where this battle is taking place. This could all just be like snapshots of the same battle, on the same planet.
Yeah. There's one battle in Dune Messiah that's like name checked by what's his name? The guy
Can't
who
wait to see
the
Buzel. Right, we should take bets on which one planet is going to be in this movie.
because there's a planet where they used a stone burner, and Scytale's like, oh shit, they used a stone burner. Why is he bringing up stone burners? And that planet for a lot of Fremen was like the turning point where they started doubting Paul. I think it's like Nayush or Niushi or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Farouk fought on that. Farouk's
yes,
son maybe fought on that planet. One of them fought on that planet in a
for yeah,
conflict.
for, the Naraj defenders. So maybe this is Naraj.
Yeah, that's a good theory. Okay, battlefield. Paul walking. Here we get. So here in the center, you can see Timothy's bald head right here, where my mouse is, and then obviously this is Alia. They both seem to be in some sort of chanting ritual
Yeah,
alongside their Fremen warriors.
doing some body percussion.
Yeah, some chest beating, some humming, and I think that this ritual is sort of what we hear underscored under the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
This shot's interesting. This, whoops.
Oh my god,
I
the
mean
tower
that
turret.
shot's interesting too. Tower turret. um, this looks like some sort of post battlefield carnage.
Yeah,
This looks like ash maybe from a bomb that has gone off. I really like the promotional posters that they released a couple days before the trailer also give this vibe. But I really like how this film is leaning into like nuclear holocaust. Like the
Mm-hmm.
people have been wondering why Irulan's face is like caked in mud or something in those posters. And here, this seems to be like bodies and rubble caked in some sort of nuclear fallout ash. Um, Villeneuve definitely being like, yeah, this is my Oppenheimer. The bomb's going off, folks. And
Yeah.
we're going to see the horrors of that, which I'm particularly excited for. He's really leaning into this like World War II, Japan, Hiroshima, like horrific imagery
Yeah.
of the fallout of a bomb.
Yeah. Ash from Pokemon shows up. Yeah. I think that's about right.
Yeah,
Ash
I think
Ketchum.
Villeneuve confirmed that in the Q&A also.
He goes, Muad'Dib, I choose you, and then throws a Pokeball, and then Paul jumps out.
All right, so Battlefield Carnage, amazing turret shot. This gave me chills.
Insane. Yeah.
Folks have made accusations that Denis Villeneuve doesn't know how to film action. First of all, watch Sicario and get fucked, and then watch this trailer. My man knows how to film action. It's just not the like Marvel superhero action everyone is used to.
Thank God, dude. Thank God.
So we get this amazing turret shot. Warriors charging a turret. A tank explodes in the background here. Whoop! Sorry, gosh, sorry for the stuttering, folks. Um, Tank explosion, very cool. And then we get a little triangle-shaped ship zooming away from a planet, which the planet does not look like Dune. It looks way too watery.
Too blue. Too watery.
Too blue?
Yeah.
Could be Kaladin.
Could be Kaladin. Could be Niraj. Najar.
Mirage.
Niraj. Yeah.
And then the ship heads its way toward this looking thing.
Well, it looks like another big ship that's heading into a Highliner, or is like just outside of.
Yeah.
So I see a Highliner in the background, and then
This
there's
giant
that.
maw in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe this is
looks
like
a big transport ship or something.
yeah. So actually, what if that's like Wallach, and it's the Bene Gesserit coming to meet with the Spacing Guild
Oh.
for their
Yeah.
like traitor conspiracy meeting or something? Because we then
Yep.
also get a shot of Bene Gesserit in this like what looks like it could be a ship or like a something.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this is what you're talking about. We get this.
Yeah, exactly. And
them,
it's like right
walking
after.
Right.
Although maybe
those could
that's
be
also an Arcane.
The architecture is given a bit more arcane
Yeah, it looks a little bit like
curves and carvings in the wall. This shot we're going to come back to a number of times. This scene where Jessica and Paul are speaking. This is, from my understanding, the only scene that Jessica's in.
Still notable considering she's not in the
Still
book.
notable. Yeah, still notable to have Jessica come back at all and drop what I think is the hardest line of this trailer. Your father never started a war.
Yeah.
It's such a rude thing to say. Jessica, mom, pushing me into this war and then blaming me for it. All right, so Timmy and mom are talking. This is the shot of some hooded figures, probably Bene Gesserit, entering some sort of room. This seems to be the same room. Irulan is now removing her hood. So this reads to me like the conspirators meeting, which is the first chapter of Messiah, I think.
Mando says a no ship maybe. We're too early for no ships.
It's too early for no ships.
We're like 4,000 years too early for no ships. Recall that Leto's chamber, the Darius Balat horde, was a prototype no chamber before no ships existed.
Yeah. Okay, so the conspirators are presumably meeting here. Okay, sarcophagus. This has been maybe the biggest talking point on the internet. I tweeted about the sarcophagus and I've just been getting destroyed for the last 48 hours. What are your thoughts, Leo?
So my initial thought was Edric, and I was like punching the air, excited for Edric the fish boy. But the problem, of course, is we don't know. We don't see Edric in the chamber. It's an awfully small port. You know, like if that is glass, Abu, you and I talked about whether or not this is even see-through. Are we seeing the spice melange? But like that is a small window. And Edric, presumably is always in it. You're telling me he has that restricted a field of vision? Feels very impractical. Feels like doesn't really
Yeah.
make sense.
Yeah.
And Edric is absolutely a character that could be cut. I don't care what anybody
Yeah.
says.
Look,
He is
it's
not an important
true.
character.
It's true.
So I'm really still undecided. I think it could be Edric, and it would feel right if it were Edric. And we're not going to get the fish man. We're going to get this kind of voice coming out of the coffin. But I could also see this is the container in which Duncan Idaho / Hate is being carried. And we're going to get a big reveal where Cytail or someone goes, this is going to, hey, here's our gift. And the thing opens, and from the mists steps Jason Momoa, and we're going to get this
Yeah.
big reveal.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are the two strongest possibilities. One, this is Edric, and this is the container in which a navigator lives. And we'll maybe get some very blurry glimpses of Edric in there. Again, this does not look see-through to me, to be totally clear. The sarcophagus looks opaque. And maybe that blurry blob right there in the red, here where my mouse is, this blob maybe is like Edric's face or something.
Just pushed up against the glass, his only little field of vision. Sure.
So, yeah, this doesn't give Edric to me, is my theory. It could be. We don't know.
Could be.
I lean more toward this is the container that hate is transported in. And Cytail, who I think will be an amalgamation of Edric and Bijaz, another character in this book that is definitely not going to be in this movie.
Yeah, no.
I think Cytail will just embody both of those characters. Cytail will get a more prominent role in this story. And here is Cytail delivering hate to Paul. And maybe this is that scene. Maybe this is a different scene where they're just loading hate into the ship or something. Who knows what scene this is. But I don't know. This container looks opaque to me. I'm not seeing anything inside this container. And that red glow that people are assuming is spice inside there looks to me like just the reflection of some sort of red light or flame in the scene being cast onto this thing. Because we don't see any sort of similar red glow later in the trailer when we see it being loaded into some sort of pod thing on a ship.
Yeah,
that's where I personally fall.
Just
But
to go
I see
through,
there's people in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as the sarcophagus comes up, everyone has opinions. So quickly, oh my god, it scrolls every time.
Yeah.
Jakin, spice glowing red and the sarcophagus not a dead giveaway. Pretty sure axolotl tanks are shaped like women as well, not coffins. Axolotl tanks are women and monstrous, huge things. We're not going to see an axolotl tank at all.
No way.
And navigators don't go in axolotl tanks anyway. And also, neither do golas come out of them. Of course, they're delivered from the mechanical wombs. But it could be just a decision to put hate in a box so that it's not Duncan Idaho walking into Arakeen Palace where everyone's going to fucking recognize him. You know, this kind of preserves the surprise. And similarly, I think 610 Vegas, you see him go back into the ship that's his travel pod. Yes, that's a possibility. The other possibility is this is Edric, imagine, I'll paint the picture for you. Cytail's telling Mohiam, hey, we are loading our gift up right now. And then it cuts to the
You won't believe what we have in cargo downstairs.
You see the sarcophagus sliding into the cargo hold of the ship. It's like, could be either. I'm just saying everyone's very certain, and I don't know why. I think it could be either. And ultimately, and
I've had people
Ryan,
dragging me online that this is obviously Edric and I'm a dumbass, and they've been quoting the book at me, and I'm like,
I know the book.
Bitch, look at my podcast. I know the book back and forth.
I've read the book. Also, they need. Well, who said that? Jakin. Edric needs to be there to explain how Paul doesn't discover the conspirators. With, let me count those, Jakin. 5 exclamation marks. I know. I don't think it needs to be a part of the movie.
It's a small lore detail. Look, we love lore. We love world building.
That's why we're
talking about it. That's why we're here. We've been talking about it for 6 years. The prescience cancels out prescience thing.
I could see
You could just hand wave that away and come up with another reason. It doesn't have to exist.
that being cut. I mean, ultimately, I could see that being cut. B-Jazz, I love the idea that B-Jazz is needed to whistle at hate, to like awaken hate's kill
Sure, in the
instinct,
book, yeah,
activate the
that's
sleeper agent.
necessary.
But again, I just think that it's going to be something else.
Saito
And
can do
that's
that.
fine. Yeah, Saito can
Just
do
have
it. In
Saito
fact,
do it. You know,
and
I don't know why
yeah.
we wouldn't have Saito do all of those things. It
And
just makes for a
also,
cleaner plot.
and listen, hey, credit where credit's due. 610 Vegas. Okay, I agree. I just wanted to be Edric, to be honest. Fuck yeah, dude. Honestly, same. I also wanted to be Edric.
I think we all want to see Edric in this goddamn movie.
Yeah. I just want to brace all of us in case it is a sarcophagus with hate. I want to be overjoyed when I discover it is in fact Edric, and not disappointed if it isn't. And I think I will be excited whichever one it is at this stage where I'm at. I want you all to get where I'm at, where I'm not sure, and we'll be excited when I am sure, you know?
Right. We'll be excited either way, I think. It's just so funny that this has become like the fulcrum of debate about this movie on the internet so
It's
far.
so funny. Yeah.
It's fun. I personally find it all very fun. The fact that we are eating so good as Dune fans. You know, Denis Villeneuve has given us so much to chomp on, and we have shit to talk about, guys. Like that. Ultimately, I'm just like, this is great. I don't care. That could be fucking. That could be Lady Jessica's like nap chamber for all I care. She could pop
It's her
out of
red
there.
light therapy. She's really big into like influencer Instagram, and she's been doing red light therapy.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
That's so
Oh
funny.
goodness. Okay, wait. Here's a Popcorn says, "Did you see someone who edited this photo and you could see a weird face and orange hint? He bumped up the saturation or something." I didn't see that.
Sarcophagus.
I don't know if you can share
Dune
links in the
3?
YouTube chat if it lets you do that, but if you find it, drop it. I'd be interested. Okay, enough sarcophagus talk. We can't spend
Sarcophagus
45
talk.
minutes
Best
talking
part
about
of
this.
TikTok. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Our boy, Robbie P.
Our boy Robbie P.
He's looking good.
Batman himself.
I'm excited for him as Sidetail. I think he's gonna be a very weird motherfucker, and it's gonna be great.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, moving on. We get some people suspensoring in the desert. We get Paul in the desert. We get Alia, sort of zero G floating, or probably suspensor floating. That's all probably part of the same scene, actually.
It looks like the same lighting. Yeah, like they're all maybe going through like the town at night, you know, or maybe this is the I don't know. Like
Yeah. No, sorry, I'm laughing at Charon in the chat. The sarcophagus is obviously
Omnius.
Yes.
It's Erasmus. Just they went full Brian Herbert. Denis Villeneuve's like,
Oh my goodness.
hold my beer. You're gonna fucking hate this movie.
Okay, so we get a couple of quick shots in the desert, some sort of operation happening here. Lots of suspensors in use, which is awesome because the
Always
suspensors
love to see it.
are so cool. All right, and then we get this rainy planet. This could be Nijal. Is that the planet we decided?
Najar.
Nijar. So this is another
Niraj.
shot of
Sorry,
Niraj.
Fuck.
Another shot of the jihad. Fremen warriors completely dominating these other warriors from another planet. At first glance, I thought this was Stilgar, but at second glance, I'm realizing this might be Farouk.
Oh.
This doesn't
maybe.
look like Stilgar, right? That
I don't
nose
know.
is not Javier Bardem.
I was so confident that it wasn't the actress for Mohiam when we did our trailer breakdown of the first movie, and that it just
That's true,
was. And
that's
I was like,
true.
fuck, I'm bad at telling people apart.
Yeah. I had this thought as well, Jake, in the chat. Jake says, "Why do the samurai-looking lookalikes? They're blah blah blah." Okay, wow, I can't read. Why do the samurai look like they're barely putting up a fight against the Fremen? I thought that too. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason.
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things that like Denis talks, well, okay, in universe, the Fremen are some of the best fighters in the universe. So you could just say, like the choreography wise, it's going to look like the Fremen are just like one-sided wiping out these armies. I think that's true to the canon. But I also think that there's something to, if these armies are only used to, for instance, like fighting with shields or whatever, and there is something that is allowing them to fight without shields, the Fremen are then having a huge advantage because they only fight without shields in the deep desert. And so I think there could be a few different things at play here. But
Yeah, I agree. Oh my gosh, I'm getting too far ahead. I agree. There could be a few things at play. Um, we know that Villeneuve can do like cool fight choreography because we saw it at the end of Dune Part Two, where Chani is jumping around during the siege on Arrakeen. So I suspect there's a reason for why the Fremen are just absolutely walking through these stunned samurai-looking warriors. Jake is confident that's a shot of Stilgar. Okay.
I think so too. I think showing Stilgar and other known Fremen characters on this like rainy planet, akin to that early shot of Paul with his long hair covered in blood walking through the battlefield. I think those are moments to kind of really ground characters we know in unfamiliar settings during this like jihad montage.
Yeah. Okay. Jihad montage. This is where Jessica drops.
How did father do it? Your father never started a war.
Your father never started a war.
Oh, one of the best shots in the trailer.
Follow-up question. Oh my god. This is stunning. This is just
Unreal.
stunning.
Unreal. Yeah.
This is I believe the scene in Messiah where Alia's just doing one of her necessary rituals in front of gathered onlookers, Saint Ali of the Knife, pray to me, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Beautiful. No notes. Great
Kind of
job,
behind the
Villeneuve
scenes
and
peek.
team.
Anya Taylor-Joy, she actually just dressed. She showed up to set dressed like this, and they decided to use it for the. No, I'm making that up, obviously, but she is like, fuck, she's beautiful. She is such a beautiful human.
Yeah. The set design. We talked about this in our instant reactions that we posted a couple days ago, but the scale. This
Yeah.
team knows how to do scale so well.
Totally. Yeah.
You know, that's a normal sized human standing in front of this huge
Yeah.
structure.
Oh,
That's
Alex,
like
great point.
that's like curved in a way, probably to like project her voice out to the gathered masses. You know, so
And also, to
I think
Alex's
the way
point, looks like the maw of a worm,
they...
the mouth of the
Oh,
worm.
very cool, very cool. Good catch.
So
Okay,
that's
moving on from that gorgeous shot.
excellent. I'm going to add that actually.
We get some people in the rain, some sort of gathered worshippers of some sort, perhaps. Some sort of rainy planet.
Another possibility.
Unclear.
I was thinking that the kind of like bald monk-like appearances. I was raised in Tibetan Buddhism. A lot of these look like Tibetan monks, which kind of gives
Yep.
Southeast Asian, maybe adjacent to the conical Asian hats of the samurai fighters. Maybe this is the same planet. Those are the fighters, and this is a religion of that planet. And then following the defeat of that army, we're going to see the Fremen come in and kill all of these peaceful monks as like a really, you know, we're going to talk about in our trailer
We're wiping
breakdown.
out cultures. Yeah.
We're going to talk about in our breakdown the quote from Messiah where he talks about we are, we sterilized 61 planets and we eliminated all these religions. Maybe this is the same. This is Niraj. Maybe this is Niraj, and
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
seeing the monks that are then peaceful monks who are going to be killed unresisting, and that's going to be a part of the barbarousness and the terribleness of this,
Right.
this jihad.
Because they won't convert to the religion of Paul Muad'Dib or something. Yeah.
Right. Or we are seeing the aggressive, it's possible this is Arkeen, and this is like a water display, a waste of water, or maybe it is raining. It is literally just raining. And this is how fast the ecological transformation of Dune is happening, where 17 years later, there's already rain on Arrakis.
Yeah,
So,
could be.
couple of possibilities.
This is my favorite possibility from Matt. It's the end of David Lynch's Dune.
My name is a killing word. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it could be pilgrims on Arrakis. The only thing that makes me hesitant there is the rain. I question whether it would be raining so openly on Arrakis already.
But it could also be water being poured as some sort of ceremony, a giving of the water.
True. Danny Villeneuve in the chat, Karada says Danny Villeneuve mentioned Arrakis has transformed significantly, which we saw in the previous shot with the sarcophagus. There was like palm trees and like bright green plantations like right behind him outside, and I'm pretty sure that was Arrakis. So very excited to see the ecological transformation. Okay, continuing on. More great battle scene. This seems like the same shot as the tower shot from earlier, or the same scene as the tower sequence from earlier. I think we're still charging that damn tower. Okay, here's the sarcophagus being loaded very sexually into the ship.
The one thing I will say, and again, this is not to stir up the sarcophagus debate again, but the thing that makes me lean Edric on this shot in particular is the specificity of the hole on the side of whatever big wall this is or vessel this is. If it were a generic cargo bay, it would be strange that it is such a specific shape. It would make sense if this were a standard guild navigator travel bubble, like that they would have a travel bubble disperser. This is the giant Pez head, like disperse. You know, you say, I want a guild navigator. You push the Pez thing down and it pops out a navigator. It
seems bespoke, right? It seems like this port, this USB port is built for this one USB.
Right.
And why would you have that for like a one-off Gola carrying sarcophagus versus have that port for every navigator to plug in to run the ship? So I definitely see that. I agree that whatever, and this might not be the ship. You know, again, what are we looking at here? Is this a ship? Unclear. So this could be like the side of a something, and that ray of light could just be like a door opening. You know, as this thing is being loaded in. I don't know. Denis Villeneuve and the team definitely knew what they were doing with these sarcophagus shots. Truly fucking with all of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sarcophagus getting loaded in. We got a real goth girl, Alia, holding a pair of knives, I believe, in this shot.
This shot, this is true. I looked at it and then I Googled, when do bangs become a mullet? Because I was like, does she have a mullet?
Okay.
Or is it just bangs? And the result I got from my extensive research was that it depends on how far around the bangs go. Because if your bangs go far enough, now you've got a mullet.
Interesting.
Yeah. So just in case anyone was wondering. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a matter of definition.
Weighing on the bang versus mullet debate here, folks.
Men tap lower
What is
lip
Alia's
tattoo.
haircut? I also need to shout out Ryan here. We were talking about USBs and plugging in.
Universal
Spice Boy, USB.
It's
another name for navigators.
Yeah, USBs.
Okay. We got a couple of more titles here. Some shot of something. Who knows what that could be?
Yeah.
Is that the same shot of something and Chani is looking up at it? Who knows? But Chani looking real rugged in the desert. We only ever see her in the desert and in a still suit in this trailer. So
yeah,
unclear how much interaction she has in Arrakeen in the palace, because we don't get a single shot of that at all. So she's looking rugged there. This I thought was gorgeous. I mean, this is gorgeous too, but
gorgeous.
This I thought was gorgeous. A little like entrance, throne room.
We see the sarcophagus. We see the throne room. We see the...
Yep.
Yeah.
We see attendants. I tried to zoom in and tried to identify who some folks might be in the robes. Like, is that a Bene Gesserit? Is that... hard to tell. Some of them are clearly warriors.
I think this is just Alia on the Atreides Arrakeen throne, kind of greeting people as Paul is out and about.
Yeah. I saw a pretty cool theory. I think it was in our Discord, maybe. Someone had posted that this shot, what if this shot is Alia sitting on the throne, taking the throne as regent at the end of the film after Paul has already walked away, and this is the body of Chani being carried in? Could be.
No.
It feels a bit far-fetched, but it could be. Although that does look like the sarcophagus.
It looks exactly the sarcophagus, and it's taller than... I'm like, I am 98% sure that this is a sarcophagus being brought in. The only change here, though, would be in the book, Paul is on the throne, and I think Alia is like looking from above when
she's like
Edric, Sightale, and Hate all come in at the same time, and they present hate as a gift. So,
Yeah.
Orny, that's Edric's tank. Orny, I need you to take a couple of deep breaths. We've been having this conversation
we've
for
already had a
51
30-minute
minutes.
debate on the tank on the sarcophagus. Oh my gosh. Okay. Really gorgeous though. Again, set design has always blown me away in these films. Somebody in the chat, hold on, let me find it. Jake in the chat says, "My only disappointment is the scale. The throne room won't be a mile long. The throne room is described as like an awkwardly long, giant throne room to
Yeah.
force people to walk up to Paul Muad'Dib and sort of take in his presence and get nervous about it. So, yeah, they didn't go for that look. They didn't go for the whole mile long look, but I think it still looks quite regal and intimidating.
Yeah, I agree though that I am missing out on in the book. Frank is very explicit that this palace is one of the biggest things that was ever constructed in
Yeah,
the
that's
history
true.
of humanity.
Yeah,
And I think that is a missed opportunity. Like I think we're not seeing that at least in this trailer. But again, we're only seeing 2 minutes of what's going to be probably a 3-hour movie. So I'm sure there are opportunities for them to blow us away with the scale of whatever we're seeing.
certainly, certainly. Okay, throne room scene.
Oh my
Here
god,
we
I
get our first glimpses. Hate at hate.
love hate. I love Adept's comment. Every character gets carried around the sarcophagus at some point in the movie. They just say, "Okay, it's your turn. Get in, buddy." Sarcophagus ride.
Yeah, turns
Woo!
out everybody's theory is correct. The sarcophagus holds every character at some point.
All at the same time at one point. They all cram in.
So funny. Yeah.
Okay, so
A
here's hate.
orgy.
Sarcophagy. We got hate on his, and it seems kneeling, looking up at whoever. I'm really bummed. I wanted metal eyes. I wanted I think
Eyes
the
are
Tleilaxu,
subtle. The eyes are subtle.
I think the Tleilaxu metal eyes, the idea of them being uncomfortable, inhuman, and that idea of are they surveillance? We've talked about like the concern that you can't actually trust Tleilaxu eyes. I think all of that's cool, and you don't need to talk about it, but just having them be metal like ball eyes.
Yeah.
I saw some fan concept art early on that I
Yeah,
loved.
I saw the
That was like
same.
so fucking cool. And this kind of
Yeah,
just it's like, oh,
I
sorry,
agree.
is that just Duncan back? Like that looks like Duncan Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's wearing gray contacts in the promo shot. It's hard to see in this, but in the promo shots, the posters they released, he clearly has like gray contacts in. His eyes are gray.
Shouldn't
Or
have
at
pupils.
least like the irises are gray.
Yeah.
Um, I agree though. I remember that concept, those concept art photos, photoshopped things that people posted about hate a while back, where it was just pure solid gray metal eyes, no pupil,
Mm-hmm.
no nothing, no iris. And gosh, those looks cool. I wish they had gone that direction. I agree with you because there's something to also to be said about like a human's eyes are a window to their soul, and the question of do
Yeah.
golas still have souls or, because they're just resurrected, artificially resurrected
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
cells
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
a dead person. So, I think Villeneuve prefers clean and subtle as an aesthetic over like dramatic or hammy, which in
Which I
general I
appreciate.
appreciate, but I think
Yeah.
sometimes the restraint is a little too restrained.
Yeah. And Rajiv says, "Is that Cytail humming?" I don't think so. I mean, we might get like a Cytail activates Duncan toward the end. But yeah, I think we're not going to see any of that late footage yet.
Yeah, probably not. Okay, this is
Do we think he's
this
going to be a Mentat? Probably not. Also, 6'10".
probably
Good
not.
question.
No, they've sort of sanded down the mentat aspect of everything.
Which sucks. I like Mentats, but it's okay.
This looks like the same throne room because these
Yep.
stairs and the curve of this wall looks like the same thing as the previous shot. And now Paul and Hate are battling, but to me, this reads as not to the death. This reads to me as I'm testing you. Are you the same Duncan Idaho that trained me to fight with a sword?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're like, let me see if you really are the sword master you once were, kind of thing. And then they fight, and then
Yeah.
maybe at the end he goes, oh yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good.
Oh, look at him though. They kind of added. I don't know if this is just the lighting or just this shot. Momoa looks a bit older, a little more wrinkly around the eyes, which I think is kind of an interesting touch. And with the white robes, it's really giving like Gandalf coming back in the white.
Yeah, yeah. Totally.
Gandalf the Grey. I'm Gandalf the White now, bitch.
Hate the
Okay.
white.
Dune trilogy. Just a sort of
Irulan,
nondescript shot of
Dorothy.
Irulan. This is interesting. Sidetail walking amongst
People on
Ar-
Arrakis.
people on Arrakis,
Yeah.
wearing still suits, and he's wearing a
Hmm.
still suit. So this is another clue to me that Sidetail's role is going to be greatly expanded in this story. I
Yeah,
even wonder
it's
if
possible.
Sidetail will become the key conspirator. Like the conspiracy to assassinate Paul will kind of be like his machinations.
It makes sense to do that if you. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Also because he is the one at the final moment that needs to be overcome as he like threatens the children that Paul has with
Yeah.
Chani.
Yeah.
So kind of building to that confrontation at the end. Um, Revisiting, I went back and revisited a couple of the chapters where Cytail and Paul are in the same room, and I really love how Cytail kind of puts on this like bumbling kind of nervous thing that I know Robert Pattinson will be able to do so well.
He's
That
gonna
like
crush
kind
it.
of Mickey
Yeah.
17 style, like he's kind of nervous and kind of
Yeah.
a bumbling idiot. He's gonna kill that, and I love the idea of Paul kind of seeing through it and being like, "Don't fuck with me. I see what you're doing." I think that can be very cool. But I do wonder about like, yeah, what are they all looking at? Is that they're all kind of looking down a little bit. It's interesting. It'll be curious to see.
Yeah. I'm excited to see Robbie Pat embody that. This, I believe, is Chani's legs in the desert
I
because I think
think so too.
the following shot is this. Those look like the same exact scene. So it seems like Chani is sort of going into some sort of battle stance. Again, all we're really seeing of Chani is desert.
Yeah, you don't cast. Takako pointed out. I suppose you wouldn't cast Patterson if the role isn't more significant. That's true. He's a good actor, and you could do just kind of a no name actor if he was just going to show up in a few scenes. But that does also lead to the question that Popcorn Fire pointed out, that do we think that him skin changing is something that the audience won't see? Um, I feel like if he is going to change at all, we need at least a scene of his like face rippling and him changing, and then maybe something passes in front of him and it passes by and now he looks very different. Like that I could see just once, and now we don't trust who we're seeing on screen or whatever. But
Yeah,
I don't know
in
how
the
much of
character
the
posters they released, they do a thing with his face where there's like a blurry
yeah.
after image of his face. So I don't think they're gonna completely erase the face dancer aspect of Saito.
And
I
Jake
think we'll
and
see a transformation. But again, knowing Villeneuve's preferences on aesthetic, I don't think we should be hoping for something dramatic and cool. Like cool is the wrong word. I don't think we should be hoping for something showy.
we
It's
shouldn't
going to be
expect
very
anything good.
subtle and very reserved,
Yeah.
much like the Gola eyes. You know.
Um, Jaken isn't most of Saitel's scenes as Lichna, the daughter of Othame, and that is true. Most of the time, that Saitel is like he infiltrates the palace, he hangs out with Paul. He also is the attendant that pushes around. He pushes around Edric, so he's like the bulky, muscular attendant that pushes Edric's like bubble into the room where Paul and Stilgar have this meeting. And otherwise, I think he makes himself look like Duncan Idaho when he goes to visit Farak, and then he makes himself look like Farak after he's killed Farak. So yeah, we'll have to see what he ends up looking like.
Yeah, and
Um,
you know, shape shifting is not something we've never seen on film. You know, the X-Men did it pretty well. So
yeah,
I think it can be pulled off, and audiences will follow along with what's happening with the face
he
dance or
becomes
shape shifting.
Jennifer Lawrence. He just becomes Jennifer Lawrence for most of the movie.
I'm Cyclops now. Laser eyes. Okay, Kieran dropping bangers today in the chat. Can't wait for Pattinson to reprise his role in the Chapter House adaptation.
Yeah,
Same.
true. Same.
Okay, then we cut to what I think you have convinced me, Leo. I thought we didn't see Stoneburner in this trailer, but this sequence of shots, I think clearly is Stoneburner. So
This
there's
looks like
people
Paul's.
running
Yeah, Paul's kind of like security entourage closing in.
right
This looks
here.
like the quarter of the like Arakeen neighborhood where the stone burner goes off. I believe that that is Paul in his like walkabout town uniform. He's got like the bald head kind of visible with the cloak kind of hood, his silhouette there. And then those are all of his guards that have swarmed around him when they know that something's happening. And then right after
And
that, here you can see it's going to be hard to capture during this stream, but there's a sequence where everyone gets shoved off their feet. And initially, yeah, so it's here. The person right now, exactly center screen, looks like the same person that was in robes. That is Paul. So everyone's kind of blown off their feet. Paul regains his standing, and then there's probably going to be like a noise ringing thing as a reveal as to their eyes, or maybe behind his head, so we don't see for a little while what's happened.
yeah,
But yeah, I'm 100%. This is the
this
Stoneburner
you're,
for sure.
I believe I believe you are absolutely correct. That's a glimpse of the stone burner explosion. And then
And
right
then
after
and
that,
then I am
we
so
get this
fucking
shot.
convinced. All right, the more
I'm
I've
less
looked,
convinced, but sure.
dude, the
Go
more
ahead, you
I've
share
looked
your
at
theory. Share
this,
your theory.
my theory is that this is so yeah, he walks up. We don't see his face until here. And if you look at it closely, like I have, I feel like his eyes look wrong. I feel like they look like they're added in after the fact. I think that this is a different shot in the final movie, and he's gonna actually have the black pits kind of in the I don't know running. I'm convinced. I think this will be a reveal of him staring out at everyone like I'm not dead, motherfuckers, and I'm not blind. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Yeah. Um, yeah, could be. I also think that could just be a shot um, after a particular jihad victory. We're chanting, we're celebrating. Paul's like, "We've won," and then we see like his battle scars from the battle. You know, I think this
CG
could be
eyes.
earlier in the film
I
too.
think so too. Bill Brooks. Bill Brooks. I agree. CG eyes. I think so.
Yeah.
Uh,
Regardless, again, I gotta comment on the scale here. My God,
huge, incredible.
hordes
Yeah,
of
the
Fremen
legions.
warriors, the legions. Look at that. That's fucking enormous. Very cool. I suspect there will be a lot of chanting and cheering and roaring, warrior roaring in this film, and I'm so ready for it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap up. Final shot here.
So
Two people.
someone pointed out actually this is on the back of a sandworm.
This is on the back of a sandworm. Someone earlier was like, "No sandworms in this trailer." Nope, I think this is on the back of a sandworm.
See, P. Serrato says same with Hate's Eyes going to be different in the movie. I think that that could be
I
true.
don't think so.
I think that that also is probably not true because like yeah, I think that all of the scenes maybe I don't know. I could see it just being what it is.
Yeah,
Um,
I I like Matt's theory on the Paul on the dais. Could also wondering if it's supposed to be the movie's big reveal of Paul of short hair after the jihad montage. Like he has his normal
oh,
long hair during the jihad battle scenes, and then maybe it's the scene of him washing his head after he's shaved his head and the scars on his face, and then after he washes himself, he walks up to his victorious hordes and says, "Look at us, we're unstoppable in our jihad.
and this is what we've accomplished.
This is what
Yeah,
we've accomplished." Yeah.
I could. Okay, I could see that, but then his eyes look weird. So anyway,
Timothy Chalamet, fix your eyes.
fix your eyes, dude. Come on. Famously unattractive Timothy Chalamet. Uh, Asve Vag says Korba probably won't be in the movie. Agreed. Korba does
Agreed.
not in the movie. Uh,
He would
I
have
don't.
gotten a character poster if he was.
I don't think we're gonna get any Kizarate, um, like the yeah,
Yeah,
the Paul's religion
the
thing. I
like
think that's
ultra
gonna be
religious
diminished.
followers. Yeah, I think it'll just kind of be the assumption that everyone follows him because he's a religious figure.
Takako.
Yeah,
That bald
I
Paul
think
looks like
I,
that
I think
last
that I
Airbender.
think the thing that like it
Sure.
can be hard to square as a super fan of a property and of a book series is when it is adapted, some of the edges have to be sanded down. You cannot adapt like everything in the book to the screen and have it make sense, or have it be, or even if it does make sense, have it be as compelling as it was in the story, or in the original story, in the original book. So like, yes, are they Kizarate, however we pronounce that, are they an interesting aspect of the world building in Frank Herbert's stories? Absolutely. Are they gonna like totally hit on screen in a 2.5 hour movie where you have to get a dozen other emotional arcs and plot lines um, figured out? Like, I don't think so. So
No.
you sand down some of the edges, you simplify, you streamline. I think that's necessary, and Messiah, I think, in a weird way, becomes more complex than Dune Part One, like Dune the book, because Dune the book is like somewhat a pretty expected and normal hero's journey of a main character rising to power. Dune Messiah is different and adds layers of complexity. So the filmmakers will inevitably have to decide which layers of complexity do we keep because they're going to hit on screen and add to our story, which layers of complexity will just kind of be unnecessary and we have to get rid of. Sorry for getting on a soapbox there.
No, I agree.
Okay, so with this last shot we have, presumably this is Chani holding a crysknife while two people on worm back are preparing to charge her. Impossible to tell who those two people are. And then the final shot of the trailer is a reverse shot of, again, a real rugged, angry looking Chani in the desert, preparing to fight and charging.
Yeah.
And that's Dune Part 3, folks.
And Jakin says, looks like Fremen sent to recapture Chani for Paul. Yeah, that's a possibility for sure. Maybe Irulan's assassin's going to kill her competition when Paul makes it clear he's not interested in Irulan in any other way than for the throne. Yeah, I could see a few explanations, but we'll see. I really, Chani is still the big question for me. I want Chani and Paul to get back together because I think they're, I don't know.
Their love story is integral to.
Yeah, I agree.
To Paul's arc. I agree. There needs to be some sort of reconciliation. I think I would be disappointed if this entire film, opening credits to final credits, Chani simply acts as like a rebel in the desert, opposing Paul's reign and opposing Paul's jihad. And she dies at the end for some other reason that isn't like childbirth and like some sort of tragic thing that breaks Paul. I don't know. That would be if they leaned into that route entirely without bringing their love story back together in some way, I think I'd walk away disappointed.
Yeah, agreed. I do think you need. I mean, again, not that we're going to get adaptations of Children of Dune and God Emperor of Dune and all that, but to adapt Frank's universe and to somehow end it at Paul and Chani feels like a real disservice to the IP, because whether or not you're going to touch the later books, to say that Leto and Ganima are not born, like that just doesn't work for me. I like Leto and Ganima too much for it to be a world in which they're not born, and that's an uphill battle. I mean, I don't think that it's impossible for me to like that movie, but it is a much harder ask than just they start off separate, and at some point after the 17 years, they are back together, and we kind of accept why.
Yeah, Popcorn makes a great comment here in the chat. Denis Villeneuve himself has said that this is a love story, and that that's at the core of this movie. So again, I know I really sound like a like a blind Denis Villeneuve stan. And I know we shouldn't follow charismatic leaders, but he's proven in Part 1 and Part 2 that he can do this and that he understands his story better than not better, but as much as we all do. And so I think he recognizes the same things that we do, where Paul and Chani's love story is sort of the emotional core that holds Dune Messiah together, and it's what makes it such a tragedy that Paul has to make the decisions that he does.
Yeah.
So one way or another, I do believe this movie will find itself back at that emotional core.
Ryan. It's about the love between Leto 2 and his worm flesh. Ooh, I love me some trout, some sand trout. Oh my god, yeah.
Incredible. All
So
right,
that's the
gang.
trailer. Yeah.
That's the trailer. Thank you so much for hanging out. Gosh, so many of you joined us today. We love it. Um, Leo and I are actually going to go and now record the audio version of our breakdown so that folks listening to the podcast can hear it. We're going to go into some details and share some more theories there. So be sure to check that episode out. It'll be out in a few days on all the podcast feeds for Gam Jabbar. And we'll be sure to incorporate many of the theories that you all have been throwing out in the chat here as well in our conversation for that episode.
Indeed.
Okay, thank you so much for hanging out, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a rest of your week. We'll see you over in Discord. We'll see you on Patreon. We'll see you on the podcast feed.
See you
Bye,
there.
y'all.
Have a great day, y'all.